This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Tuesday, March 3rd, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So, great trade by Andy this morning in the pre-market coming into INO, just absolutely phenomenal buying. Now, one thing that we can see here is that even on its way down, we can still see a bunch of building positions coming in, and I can't really see it as covering considering the fact of the amount of buying that was coming in on this way up. Now, we did have the or prints at 5, which never pulled back from. And we also know that 5 is a huge psychological level that's going to be a hard thing for it to be able to hold. So really would make sense for them to bring it back underneath again, scare some people out of some shares, build up, and then end up giving us back towards that 6. Because based off the buying that I saw, especially in the pre-market, we definitely had the buying to get back up towards that 6 level. So pull underneath 5, and then going to be looking for a trigger back towards that upside. Next thing is MRNA. So we can see a lot of the stocks that have been moving on the whole coronavirus thing have taken a little bit of a hit today, and I think it has something to do with yesterday. How that they're saying they're doing a million different things and all this, but there's actually no game plan in it yet, and I think it kind of hit a lot of these. So one thing to keep in mind too is that all the stocks that we've been watching this week, right now the pre-market's pretty light, but all the stocks that we were watching this week, they're going to be in play. So I'm talking about APT, NVAX. Well, HTBX was on my list until CODX, obviously, but just make sure you have those things out there, and at the same time, depending on what your level is, don't have too many things out there, because if you're trying to look at 18 stocks and you've been doing this for 10 days, well, I'm going to tell you something, you're not going to really be able to be focused in on anything. But coming into MRNA, we can see as we came back down towards those lows at the 27, we definitely did get new selling that was coming into here. This morning, though, it's a little bit mixed coming in, because if we look back over here from, this morning, from last night at 7 p.m., there was a bunch of buying that came in, which just a little bit odd, because just a very weird time for something like that to happen. And then coming into this morning, we really did start off with a little bit of buying, but overall, you know what, we're on that downtrend. We're seeing some riders that are coming into this to push this thing back up. But overall, I'm still going to be looking for it to go down to that 27, because yesterday we definitely did see a lot of selling as we were coming into our lows. Now, at the same time, it's one of those stocks that kind of has buying at the highs and then selling at the lows. So we're really going to have to see what the personality of the day comes in and really make sure that we're following someone specific. Because if we don't, what's going to end up happening is our story is just going to be completely mixed. I mean, you're talking about cheap stocks that have been moving for 2 weeks now. So the stories are getting pretty intricate. So we can't really go too much on that, because of the fact that we have buying at the highs, we have selling at the lows. So really focus on getting, following a specific person. And that person right now, just because we have that selling at 27, hasn't really shown up yet. So I'm going to be looking for that very closely, and then obviously we're going to take it from here. But like I said, still getting some shorter term riders coming into this thing to show us a little bit more of a pull up, and then obviously be looking for a trigger back down to those sell prints that we saw coming in at 27. Next thing, I was going to have HTBX on our list, but if we take a look, that's not good. Now, technically, it hasn't got a kiss of death yet, and it does have the buying to get up above that 1. Now, we did get very, very close yesterday, but at the same time, it kind of got rejected, and we can see that selling coming in. I mean, that's some really, really huge volume. So I'm going to have to switch this one over to our side list. As of right now, it's on the bottom of my side list, because this just, does not look good. But really what I'm looking for it to do is hold right here, right about that 60 cent level. Because after that, we're going to start getting into the kiss of death phase, where there's just not really that much that's going on. And there's not that many people that still have positions at a high, at a higher price than that. So once that happens, just keep that in mind as we go in. But we really want to be, see it hold that support if we're going to have anything coming in. I'm also interested in IBO today, because so yesterday, we started to get a nice little push coming into the aftermarket, and we started pushing up towards that 3 level. And if you remember from last week, we still have a lot of buying up at those highs, and it's exactly what I was just talking about with personalities. Is that right now, because this has been going on for weeks now, we have a lot that's going into the highs. We have some that's coming into the lows, but with IBO, I didn't really see as much as I would have expected to coming into that sell point. You know what? This looks like a lot, but when it's trading this much during the pre-market, it's really not. So it's on my side list just because of the fact that it's it hasn't given anything that a specific show of this is exactly what I wanted to do. but at the same time, it is looking good. Looking at that, the bottom part, especially coming up to that 2, we did get a lot of buying that came in there, having a lot of buying up at those highs. It's something that we definitely have to keep our eyes on. All right, but once again, like I said, this pre-market I'm not ecstatic about because there's not a ton that's really showed up yet. GNMX is another one, excuse me, GNMK. This one is obviously towards the bottom of my sell list, and I just want to give you my, kind of logic behind the reason that I'm even going to be watching this is because as we came up to that 5, there is buying that's up there. The only problem is that buying, if it lets me go back, which it's not going to, was yesterday in the aftermarket. So the aftermarket prints aren't going to hold as much weight as something that's coming into the morning, something that's coming into the actual pre-market, but there still is buying up there. And if you look, it held on nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. And we're still seeing buying that's actually coming into it. Just had a little bit at 4. I mean, there's nothing crazy, okay, but at the same time there is some stuff up here, so I'm just going to be keeping an eye. But once again, it's towards the bottom of my list. I'm kind of I don't want to say reaching because I'm not reaching at all, but I'm trying to look for things to focus on that have more of a setup when we're not really getting that much that's moving and really going on out there. SBC just got hit with decent buy in 26.75 on unfiltered T. Yeah. Okay, so obviously SBC is going to be another one where this thing is. It's looking like it's starting to fade out a bit. That's the only problem that I have with it is when these stocks start to get very consolidated within their trading, a lot of times we start to kind of see them die. But if we come over here and we actually look at the daily, what I do like about it is even though it looks like it's been trading a ton of volume, based off the original volume, we actually are in a volume dip right now. So I wouldn't be shocked to see some real big volume coming into this thing. And you know what? We'll put it on our list for the morning just because we don't have a ton that we're really going to be looking at the moment. But you know what? Overall, we're going to find a lot of high probability trades. We always do. Now, anything else out there that I missed? TTNP, let's take a look. All right, so yeah, absolutely. It's a whole lot of volume. Let's see what happened at 50. All right. Yeah, it looks like we got, I mean, it's definitely got the buying. It's definitely got everything coming in. Just once again, I say this almost every single morning, but just make sure it fits your game plan, because overall, if it doesn't, then, this is a cheaper stock. You're probably, based off of the personalities that we see, especially when you see this happen during the pre-market, a lot of times they kind of die out. So just, make sure that it fits your game plan for the morning. And then, yes, CODX, as we talked about, I mean, it's going to be continuing, but now this is actually getting some real volume. So we're going to put that on our list as well. Just in case anybody does forget. But make sure that, like you said, you have a watch list of these things that have been moving over and over again. And I'll list it again, just a few of them. But going into APT, NVAX, CHPI actually wasn't that bad at all either. But the stocks that we just continuously see moving like that, let's make sure that we, that we're paying attention to them because it's not over, okay? These things aren't just going to completely die out right away, but I do think that a lot of people are kind of like sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for something because there's just no real answers out there. But you know what? It is what it is. As long as we get volatility, guys, we're going to have a good day. All right, so let's get ready for our morning. All right, as always, let's make sure that we're focusing on things that are going to help greatly affect our trading today. Remember what our mission statement is. What we want to do is we want to find a setup and we want to get in a position that the stock is going to get as far away as quickly as possible from where our entry is going to go. So make sure that's, the ultimate game plan, and then we work from there. Super Tuesday elections, yes. So, well, hopefully that's not going to kill the volume because it kind of, looked like that a little bit in the pre-market. I just didn't want to bring up anything because, as you guys know, frankly, I don't care about anything but what we see going on out there. All right, guys, let's get ready for our morning. I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.